I've only just gotten to a place where I feel that I don't need someone else to tell me that I can do this podcast, because I know I can do it.
I didn't do university. Maybe this loan will be the equivalent to my student debt, and I will learn business on the go, and I'll give it all I can.
I can't really put that as my job title, because I'm like, put that as your job title.
Yeah.
Guys do it all the time. They're like, I'm the best at this. I do it. And they almost manifest their way into being the best at things.
Yeah.
And I think that's nice now that it's becoming more like women as well, empowering each other to be like, yeah, you are. You own your space. You do that. And
I thought I would never find a job or a career that I loved more than styling, ever. Even when I sold the business, there was still part of me that was, I'm so going to miss this. People get caught up in going, I should follow the latest fashion trends.
Good, yeah.
Style can be an armor. It can be a coat of confidence that you wear something, you feel fantastic.
Are you ready to embrace the best version of yourself? I'm Jen Helliwell, design and fashion creator, and I am on a mission to inspire, motivate, and uplift women to be just that through my platform and podcast, This Girl Can Talk. Welcome to the very first guest episode of This Girl Can Talk. Today, my amazing guest is Kelly Lundberg.
Great to be here.
Thank you so much.
And to see this after the conversation that we first had of you saying, I really want to do a podcast. And I'm like, okay, let's make this happen.
Yeah.
And you have. So congratulations to you for being an action taker.
Thank you, Kelly. And I couldn't be here without your help. 6 months ago now, wasn't it, that we had that first call. And what I loved most and the hook that got me in was, in all honesty, I had spoken to different people and tried to do different things. And this has been a long time coming. And I just never found the right fit. There is a story behind why I called you, actually, which will come. But I saw that you had these discovery calls. So I thought, okay, I'll do it. I'll have the discovery call. And we talked and it sounded fantastic. And I thought, right, yes, I'm going to do this. This is going to happen. And then I got back to you and I said, this all sounds fantastic. But you know what? It's the summer and I'm going to be away and doing stuff. So I think I'll start in September. And you were like, okay, Jen, yeah, that's fine. But I really champion people that just get started because you'll already be. And I was like, this is the girl for me. It's like, this is what I need.
Yeah.
Constructive, going to push me forward. Yeah. And just be like, okay, instead of softly, no, okay, we'll just get back in September. So we started.
And we wouldn't be here now if you'd started in September.
In Normandy, in the middle of nowhere with hardly any Wi-Fi, calling you. And you
remember.
And I think that's what I genuinely love, that insatiable work ethic that is in line with my values. I see you constantly, wherever you are. I think even when you were getting married, you were doing some work on your social. That was the beginning. And now we're here. So it's amazing. So the proper introduction is, Kelly, you are a businessman. You are a personal branding expert. You're an athlete branding strategist, style guru, dream nurturer, and goal grabber. Kelly is deeply committed to helping entrepreneurs build their personal brands, grow their businesses for maximum impact and income. And her mission is to inspire 5 people every single day. But I'm pretty sure that you're exceeding that with ease. We're going to have a great chat today, and I'm so excited about it. And I'm so excited.
We'll inspire more than 5 to action.
We will.
That's what I want.
Okay, let's get started, Kelly.
Love it.
First, what are you wearing?
I got the black memo.
Yeah, we got the memo.
And we both, I think you like wearing black, and I love black. It's got such a go-to. So to be fair, this is just Zara. It's an old winter Zara. Isabel Marant belt, which I love because it goes with so much. I wished I'd got it in black as well because it's got no hardware on it. And
they usually, don't they?
Yeah, and I do this one then if I'm wearing gold or silver, it can work. And the boots, I think these ones are Malone Soyez.
Oh, gorgeous.
Love that brand.
Fantastic.
Size 36 works so well for me.
I've got a white pair, mid-calf, and they're so gorgeous. See, we don't get enough time in Dubai to wear our winter boots. So when it's even just like, I think it's like 17, 18 degrees today, isn't it? You look fantastic.
Thank you
always
so much.
do. As I've introduced you, most people know you now as the brand strategist. I can't tell you how many people ask me about you. Oh, you're working with Kelly.
That's so nice.
And now we've built this genuine, lovely group of women. We were all at an event together. But you didn't just get here, did you? You didn't just fall into this wonderful career that you love. So there's been quite a few jumps and pivots along the way.
Yeah.
Can you set the scene for us, starting where you began and up until today?
The sort of the origin point I often start at is my move to Dubai, because it was one so long ago, but it really was a turning point on, what am I going to do with my life? I was 21 years old and I wanted to escape Scotland. And why did I want to escape Scotland? Because people are like, oh, it's so beautiful, it's stunning. But I really hated the weather. And I just wanted to travel. A lot of my friends did backpacking. That was never me. Even now, as someone who spent 20 years in the fashion industry and I can pack really well, I'm never going to be able to do it in a backpack. So the opportunity to travel the world as cabin crew for a couple of years was a match made in heaven at 21. Travelled, opened up opportunities, spoke to people. And then while I was flying, I had this kind of itch, and I think a little bit to do with living in Dubai. I really wanted to start my own business because I was looking around me and everyone was doing it. And I was like, this is back in 2004, 2005. And I'm like, hang on a minute, everyone's starting a business. Why can't I? I never at the time thought, oh God, I'm only 23 years old, like that's too young, or how am I going to afford it? The naivety sometimes in your 20s is beautiful. And I just went for it and decided to stop flying, launch my business. How hard could it be? Naive, a lot harder than you think it is. But that then was very much a kind of learn on the job experience. It was so prehistoric in those days trying to get a trade license. And in order to get 100% shares, you had to have 100,000 dirhams in your bank account. It was like, we're at 23, am I going to have 100,000 dirhams in my bank account? I took a personal loan and the bank manager was like, why do you need so much money? And
These kind of stories though, where you're young, you're winging it, blagging your way.
I think I remembered at the time equating that money to a lot of my friends, whilst some had travelled and had gap years, the majority of them went to university and a lot of them had student debts. I thought, you know what? I didn't do university. Maybe this loan will be the equivalent to my student debt and I will learn business on the go and I'll give it all I can for a year, 2 years and see how long this money lasts me. Because I was on my own. I had to pay for my rent. I had to do everything and pay for health insurance. The only things you don't really think about when you're employed here, then you're like, oh, okay, I'm like, how much is health insurance? Can't be that much. I'm young. Little things
Until
like
you
that.
realise how much it is. And you're like,
so expensive. To be fair, it was quite cheap in those days. It's not like it is now. That was then coming up for 20 years ago. I feel really old when I say that.
but also really proud.
Yeah. And the one thing that when you'd mentioned sort of the names there of the titles or descriptions, the two that I really love are go-getter, dream nurturer, because they're very much what I love doing. The fact that I've been able to have two niches or two careers in the last 20 years as a business owner, that I thought I would never find a job or a career that I loved more than styling ever, because I loved it. Even when I sold the business, there was still part of me that was, I'm so going to miss this. But now I'm doing personal branding where the style is still a part of that, but I get to help people with their dreams so much more that I can't believe that I've been able to do this twice. When you speak to a lot of people and they could be in their 40s, 50s, 60s and they go, oh, I found what I love doing.
Yeah, but I think as well, I was thinking about this before when I was doing some research and I was thinking, you've almost manifested your dream career through what you did for yourself. You went to the University of Life to make your dream career and you didn't necessarily pan it out to be that way. You didn't know what you were doing, but you took 20 years of experience and now you're benefiting off that 20 years of experience in the most joyful way. Because I also come from a styling background. We sat in the audience at the weekend, didn't we? It never leaves you. You can't help it.
How would I change that?
Exactly, which I think is so inspiring. For me, having been through the pivots and changes and things that I've done, when I talk to women now, and they're at a stage where they've become a mom or they feel discontented with where they're at, it's not necessarily, I don't think, that you have to completely leave behind your career. It's a pivot, a movement into something slightly different to use your experience. Look at all the different clients that you have now all doing something totally different, but you can help each and every one of them.
When I sold the business, I was like, okay, I'm never styling again. And then when I started to really dig down and see where my clients needed help, I'm like, they need help with their style. They need help with their pictures. They need guidance on all of this. And I'm like, why did I think that it wasn't going to come with you? It's not that you just stop all those skills. They just come with you and you can add new ones in. And that's exactly what's happened.
If I could give advice now, you can't tell young people what to do. They have to find their own way. But you have to do what your heart wants to do, because you can sit in a job for however long and make 6 figures. But if your heart's not happy, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Agreed.
And for me, I know that kind of love of doing something is where I'm sitting right now. This is what I've wanted to do. You were like, Jen was my first client that came to me and said, I don't want to make any money. And that's not my drive. That's not my passion. My passion is about helping people. And along with that, come what will. But I think that's, you've got to do what it is that your values go to, because that's when you become your best self and everything else naturally falls away.
Yeah, when you become unapologetically you.
Yes.
You're a driver. And I think you hit on something there about your values. The foundation for anything that you do is your brand values. What aligns with you drives your choices. It's something I look around in relationship, not just in business. You have your personal brand values of how you show up. But I think in relationships, you've got to understand what's your partner's values, because no matter how much you may like or love someone, I've realized over the years that if your values don't match, there's no changing anyone. The values are inherent, they won't change. And from that, then there's conflict. So I see a huge part of the personal brand values, you being aware of what works for you and what aligns with you, and that you can take into everything.
Completely.
Yeah.
Can you share a moment in your life where you showed incredible courage, and how do you believe that has shaped the woman you have become today?
Ooh. I'd say there's probably been a few. I think definitely courage to leave home. And I didn't leave home at 21. I left home at 18. My other career before that was I was a holiday rep. I lived in the Canary Islands. I think I did 3 destinations in the Canary Islands and 1 in Cyprus. So I left home at 18. And I genuinely think that shaped who I am massively. Yeah. The skills as a holiday rep, you're given a location, a car, some petty cash, and you're like, okay, go and look after 200 people that have just arrived on the island and they're staying in 5 different hotels and you've got to manage it all yourself. I was 18 doing that. In some ways, it was like running your own business. You got 200 new guests every week, didn't have to market. My public speaking skills came from the fact that I had to do 8 welcome meetings a week. Yeah. And so I think that was probably the first piece in understanding and shaping who I am as a person. My mum said she cried. She had to drop me off at Glasgow Airport and she cried all the way there and she cried all the way home. And she said, because I knew that you were never coming back. And she said, I knew that you were leaving home.
Mums know. I finished school and I went off on an 18s to 30s holiday. My mum had no idea. I'd been at boarding school since the age of 8. So mum had no clue what this was that I was going on. Apparently the first night I was away, on the TV somehow there was a 18s to 30 expose on or something. So mum spent the rest of the 10 days like crying, going to church because she was so devastated. And I was up very well behaved. But yeah, mums do know, don't they? They're just like losing it. You just can't imagine. But it's madness now, isn't it? To think about being 18 years old and having that amount of responsibility. Other people would have been older than you.
I was the youngest rep that they ever took on. And I challenged them a bit because I remember going to the open day that they had in Edinburgh. And for me, the advert in the evening news was just, do you want to go and live in the sun somewhere? And I was like, that's me all over. And went to the open evening. And I remember the woman got up and discussed the role and what you'd be doing. And I was on the edge of my seat going, oh, I can do that. I had a pamphlet and it's, are you this? Are you this? Are you this? And I'm like, yeah, I'm all of those. And then it's, and are you 21? Nope, but that doesn't matter. And still, I didn't get up and leave. And I thought there's 2 ways I can tackle this. Just ignore the fact that they've said 21 or own it. And I thought, do you know what? I really want this job. If I'm going to do it anyway, that very much is something that's gone throughout my career. I went up to her and I said, hi, nice to meet you. I remember her name, Moya Forrest. I said, I'm Kelly Lundberg, and everything on this form I can do. I'm just not 21, but I really think you should give me a chance. I think she was so floored that I had gone and accosted her. She was like, I don't think you can, but yes, you can come to the interview. And she said, go and speak to the team. And they were there and went over and they said, well, what time would you like to come? And I was like, I'm a morning person, so give me your first time. And they were like, 9 o'clock, done. I think that definitely shaped who I am. Where was that? Gran Canaria. I said, I'm coming home, Mum, I can't do it anymore. And she was, nope, I'm coming out. She brought my granny's chocolate cake, a loaf of bread. You're not coming home. What do you need? What will help you stay here? And I was like, I just really struggle that I don't have a car and I feel really isolated. And I'd always been quite independent. Like I've had a car since I was 17. And I was like, okay, we'll make that happen. I will find someone, we'll find a rental company. I'll help contribute if you can't afford it. And really helped me with that. And I stayed. And yeah, she was quite happy that I didn't come home.
But that's also the epitome of everything we talk about. That's like a strong female love and support in your life, isn't it? So you've obviously always had that. I know that you've got a really close connection and
Yeah, we do
relationship
now.
with your mum.
I think that was a big driver to also leave because we went through that 15, 16
Well,
where
that's it. That's common, isn't it?
Yeah.
My God, I was awful to my mum. And now when I think back, teenagers go through a horrible time anyway, but you give it to your mum the worst, don't you?
100%. And they give it back to you.
Yeah, they do. It's a tough old time. Females, hormones, ugh.
The screaming matches. So I do think there was also an element of that, but always supportive in everything I did. So I would probably say that would be the one thing that has really shaped the first launch pad.
What's one lesson about bravery you've learned that you wish every woman could take with her through life? And how can fashion help reinforce that lesson?
I think probably I would maybe use the word style because I think people get caught up in going, I should follow the latest fashion trends.
That's good, yeah.
Style can be an armor. It can be a coat of confidence that you wear something you feel fantastic in and nothing else will bother you. With styling clients, you'd meet them, their energy might be a bit flat. I'd pick clothes for them and then you'd put them in and they would come out the fitting room and it's like they had this transplant while they were in there of just energy and they're like, wow, this colour works well. And look, you can see my waist. From a bravery perspective, style has a huge part to play in that because even when you're not feeling great, we have this saying, again, between my mum and I, if you're not feeling great, it's, have you washed your hair?
Yes.
Have you gone and washed your hair? Go and wash your hair and then we can have a discussion. And it's so true because once you wash your hair and you feel good and you put on something that you feel, even from coordinating underwear set to an outfit they feel great in, to a pair of shoes, to a piece of lipstick, for me, that's been a huge aspect. And I think to tag on that in terms of knowing that you're going to be okay. And I think that's a big piece of sometimes at the time, it's so tough. And I think certainly going through a divorce and the challenges that come with that, to have the moments of going, do you know what, but I've got to get up, I've got to serve, this is why I'm here, washing my hair,
Yes.
putting on clothes, putting on a great pair of shoes, as hard as it is, really helped me get through that. And I would say to know that there's light at the end of the tunnel. And I think it's probably why in some ways I speak about it a little bit more, because I didn't for a long time. But there's other women that are going through, and men, to be fair, going, wow, I'm in that space right now. I didn't know. And seeing you so happy and remarried, and I am genuinely so happy that someone's watching that going, do you know what, one day I'm going to be inspired and that's going to be me. And that's what I want. I would really love that.
It's dark. And I think you said it perfectly. When you're in that, you don't think it's going to end. It's very difficult to talk about it because everyone experiences it differently. And there's a certain element of fear because you don't know what tomorrow brings. But there is so much power in talking about it. In my own personal experience and values, it's from a point of help and empathy for other people, because when you do talk about it, the chorus of people that call out to you and say, me too. Every day there's something more, if not 5 or more people. I wholeheartedly believe that, yes, you do get through it. The most annoying of all things that anyone can ever say in any circumstance, whether you're single and you want to find someone, you're going through something over, time is a great healer.
Yeah.
It's like, but how long? How much time? Just tell me how long. And then it does get better.
And you don't know it until you look back and join the dots. I'm not a very patient person.
But it makes you become patient.
And it's then when you look back and go, wow, I've come that far. Oh, an exercise that I did, which I found really useful. And it's interesting that you'd used the word about manifestation, because I did a workshop with someone once, and another she actually ended up becoming a client, said, you're a master manifester. And I was like, I've never looked at that, because I never consciously, I write desire statements, but I never.
But that is manifesting.
It is. It's just, I guess, a different way of putting it.
I was thinking that this morning. I was like, Kelly's been manifesting before this manifesting became the thing of manifesting.
Yeah. I'll write a book about desire statements.
Took us through, but you took us through a few weeks ago when we were on a call with a few other clients, and you were like, oh, I'm just going to take you back to my 2004 desire statement. And I was like, I was like, Roxy's orange book came about, and I was like, I thought I was manifesting before that, before it became the orange manifesting. And then I was like, Kelly's been manifesting before all of this. So it's just really interesting, isn't it?
There was an exercise, and I can't remember what book it was out of, but it was write down all the things that you've created or manifested in your life that you're really happy with. Go back to school, go back to as far as you can remember. I wrote down all these things. I manifested my very first job at 18. I wanted to travel again, Emirates, and I got my dream job at 23, 24. So I listed all these things, won that business award, did this. And all of a sudden I had this whole list of things. And whenever I felt I wasn't good enough, I just went, go and look at the list. And that really empowered me to go, you can create it. You just need to give it time.
Yeah. And I think as well, the key, and it's something that you've had, that inner love and self-belief. And so many youngsters now don't have that. I've only just gotten to a place where I feel that I don't need someone else to tell me that I can do this podcast, because I know I can do it. I'm fully qualified to do it.
That there's moments of self-doubt. I think that's normal. So I think with all of these, there is a moment where I'm like, ooh, can I do that? And that's when having the family support and the list and whatever it is around you to go, yes, I can. And you're going to do it.
Completely. And I also think it's down to that sort of, there's a stigma to very good as friend WhatsApp groups from back home. And we were talking the other day, and there's this stigma. When did it become a dirty word to say, I'm really good at something? When did it become, because you're like, people will say, oh my God, she's really big up herself, or God, she really loves herself. Why is that a bad thing for someone to really love themselves if they are doing really good at their job, to own it and be like, I'm really doing great at my career. I deserve this promotion. One of my friends feels at the moment, she's, oh, I can't really put that as my job title, because I'm like, put that as your job title.
Yeah.
Guys do it all the time. They're like, I'm the best at this. I do it. And they almost manifest their way into being the best at things. Yeah. And I think that's nice now that it's becoming more like women as well, empowering each other to be like, yeah, you are. You own your space. You do that. And it's a great way to be. And I hope that continues with the youngsters as well. Okay, on that, we're talking about style. Can you give us your Bravery uniform? Is there one outfit in particular that you think, yeah, I'm going to wear that and I'll feel fantastic?
I'd probably say there's not one outfit, because I love changing them. But I would say it's footwear for me. I've got really small feet. So when I find shoes and a brand and a style that works, and it's changed over the years. I had my love affair with Louboutin. Then it was the Charlotte Websters. I went through a phase of those. And I think I probably found my shoe now. And it's probably going to make me sound really old. Why I love them now is because they do 2 heel heights. They do the kitten heel. I'm not at kitten kitten heel stage. And I'm also way too short to wear kitten heels. But they do 2 heel heights, a 17 and 90. And it's Malone. So it's the same brand of the boots that I'm wearing today. I love them. And I'm a size 36 anywhere I go. They fit me so well. They're like my stage shoe. And I had a pair of gold and silver ones that went with everything. And I had them for 3 or 4 years. I remember my husband said to me, "No, this Christmas past the one before." He said, "What would you like?" I said, "Just replace these." Bought a pair of shoes the same twice, but they went with everything. They fitted me. So I say that would probably be my...
I was never really into shoes before, but I've gotten more into shoes of late. A love affair with Saint Laurent at the moment, but they're so high. What are your top style tips for women who want to dress for success when facing difficult challenges at work or in life?
I would always say before you even start thinking about the clothes, you got to get rid of stuff. And I always recommend an audit of the wardrobe. It's so cleansing mentally. I think clothes remind us of things, break or divorce or whatever it is, or you've worn that and it has bad memories, get rid or donate, gift on, sell, recycle. So I think that would be the first tip I would always say. Look at what you've got and then start to create something of that. Do I want to be represented? What do I want to look like? And now it's so easy to go onto Instagram and be like, oh, I'll save that, create a wee folder of styles and looks and ideas, because often we have the clothes in our wardrobe. The biggest challenge I found with clients over 20 years was they just didn't know how to wear the piece,
to put them together,
and the coordination of it. And that for me is the bit that I find really easy. And it's what I loved helping clients. But you've got this, and what about wearing it with this? Oh, I didn't think about that. But for me in the kitchen, it's exactly the same. People will say, okay, but you could just put that, and oh, I wouldn't have thought to add that ingredient with that ingredient, because does that even work? And it's just a confidence and knowledge thing. So I would say to then save up inspo and either start to add that into your wardrobe or mixing and matching. With a lot of clients, I would plan their wardrobe for a week and they would be like, okay, I'm going to wear this every week, and get a message at the end of the week going, I felt so good and I got compliments on this day and compliments on this day. And that goes back to your coat of confidence, the armor that you're wearing. So I would say that would be the second thing. And then the third tip I would suggest would be then go and have fun. Go and try on pieces, because often what I found with clients in the styling industry was that they were so used to looking in the mirror that they would instantly go, but this is not me. Or they would try it on and they would still say, but this isn't me. And I would say, you're going to sit in it or stand in it for the next 5 minutes, because I'm going to go out and get some more things, and I'm going to come back and I want you to look in a different mirror. I want you to turn around and I want you to just be in the outfit. And I could put money on it that I would come back into the fitting room with more bits and pieces, and they would say something like, oh, actually, this is quite nice. But you need to give the brain time to register. What do we think? This is so different. A little bit like that kids movie, Inside Out. Have you seen it? They have 5 different emotions and it's all going on in the children's head. I love it. There's a second one out, the conflict. And then you've got, oh, this is the emotional one and this is the confidence one. That's how I imagine when I was styling clients. You've got this inner dialogue of these little people inside your brain going, yeah, but that's not you. And you don't like this color. And you've got this other one going, yeah, but you could try it and look, try this or do, and that is how it is. So influence your style. And I think you've got to be careful with that, because sometimes it can be in a really good way and sometimes it can be not in a great way.
That's a great one when it comes to style, business, life, anything. I think it's not from a negative standpoint, but I think it's important, like you say, to do a wardrobe cleanse. I think you need to take a look at your environment and do a sort of life cleanse, just to double back, not necessarily that anything bad or wrong has happened, but it's about assessing where you're at in your life and where you want to go and things aligning. And I guess you come up with this all the time in branding work, right?
Yeah.
Because people generally come to you, like I did, with their idea, their hopes and their dreams, but they feel stuck. They don't know how to get beyond that point. And the reason usually people are stuck is because there's certain things keeping them stuck. But really, it's them that's keeping themselves stuck. You've got to make those audits to do it,
So true.
which is hard. but also you learn it's easy when you do it, because you get through it. On the other side of it, it's really good. Super tips. Okay, here's a good one. You are fantastic on social media, and you are always championing us, all your clients, to get behind the camera, come on, be there. You've got to be seen doing your thing. In today's world, social media can be such a great tool, but it can be such a dangerous tool as well. And do you think the way women are portraying themselves online now is empowering, or do you sometimes think it reinforces unrealistic standards? Because you show up, from my point of view, very authentically. How do you keep that up?
I think that's trying to just remember that you've got to stay in your lane. It's so hard, because I think social media has brought us so much. It's brought me clients like yourself who've been able to find out about me. It's given me tips and things I didn't know. And there's so much that I'm grateful for social media, that I think it's an amazing platform. However, there is a side to it where there is the comparison. Where am I? How am I showing up? And I think you've just got to be very aware of how you are and utilizing the tools within the platform. For example, Instagram stories, I love, and it's very much the one that you'll see me in the gym, making funny face, no makeup, like the behind the scenes. And I like that. Whereas if it's an announcement or something that I'm working towards, will be on the feed. And I think when you start to create a strategy around that, you go, okay, I don't need to just repost everything that's on my feed. It can go into the Instagram story. With that said, also, like, LinkedIn is not just for business. The people want to see that little bit of personality that's beyond the curated. So I think there's that piece of being aware when you're looking at it. I'm starting to compare myself. Then take some time off it, whether that's put my phone in another room or reset myself, going, no, remember, it's not all real. And it isn't. The fitness ones in particular, where you look at people and you're like, that's them at 5 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning. And more people have got better at that, I have to say. This is me at 8, this is me at 8:01, and they're just standing and posing differently. I do think more people are aware of that.
As it gets better and people are braver and more authentic, the less authentic becomes very obvious.
Yeah.
And I think people really appreciate authenticity, because the majority of people are not influencers.
Yeah.
So they're sitting at home, sad, upset, having a rubbish day, sitting in their tracksuit bottoms, having just eaten a bag of popcorn or something, and looking at these pristine pictures online, just thinking, I'm never going to get there. Whereas if you look at a feed that's realistic, it's okay, they've got a really nice cover shot. They've obviously had a really nice photo shoot or whatever, but also they're a real life person. Like the event we were at the weekend, and they were doing all the AI, and there was the clone.
That was quite scary.
It was scary, but it was also amazing, because for those of you that weren't there, there was a lady, and she was the owner of this business. She had done her own clone. She was on the computer and she was talking to her clone, but her clone didn't really look like her. Her clone was just this made up perfect person. So I was like, it isn't actually the same person per se.
Yeah.
And then it was Jay Shetty that said at the same event, a clone cannot give empathy. A clone cannot give that personal touch. If you're showing up as someone that's not you, then that's not who you are. So you're not being your authentic self.
I think the best compliment, I think, in these sorts of situations are when someone can say to you that maybe they haven't met you before, and they go, oh, you're the same as who you are online as you are offline. A couple of years ago, I made a sort of a vow in my head. I stop using filters. You just stop it. And it's the best thing. Do I still use them? Maybe occasionally if the light isn't great, for a different, like a different
Tone.
effect. But what's the point of me using filter on Instagram story when people meet me in real life? That's what they're going to get. And it's quite interesting. I see more and more people. And I see women as they get older. The problem is with these filters is you think that it gets rid of your wrinkles and stuff, but then it just looks so obvious. I think then what is it you're hiding? Like own the wrinkles.
Yeah, that's getting so much better. Like Pamela Anderson, Julia Roberts looks fantastic. Kate Winslet. They look healthy. They look normal. And I aspire to be like that. Don't get me wrong. Hands up. Botox. I love a little bit of Botox. Own what you're going to do and then be okay with it.
We've definitely bonded over skincare. I know we've had lots of discussions about skincare.
I love it. My LED mask was lying in bed this morning thinking Kelly would be proud. We must move on. So my final big question before we hit the fire round is one dear to my heart, as you well know. How important is female community and support when you're facing tough challenges? Can you think and share a time when sisterhood was your secret weapon?
Ooh. It's interesting because quite early on in my journey as an entrepreneur, I really didn't have many female friends. It was much more male friends. I didn't really have a big social circle of female friends. What's nice now, when I really owned my feminine energy. After my divorce, I really looked at the masculine and feminine. I did a lot of work on that and realized that quite often I came from quite a masculine space, and being more aware, moving into the feminine space, wow, my friendship circle massively grew. It was quite interesting to now, when I look back and see how many female friends, how many women I'm surrounded by. I love it. I absolutely love it. So I would probably say owning that space post-divorce, understanding that masculine and feminine, understanding I was quite in a masculine energy space, business-wise, relationship-wise, and really moving that. Friendships have been more effortless, and business and the type of clients that you attract, much more effortless too.
It's so nice, isn't it? And I think there's that saying, I said it to a friend this morning, your vibe attracts your tribe. And mine has been part of my journey. I had very few friends for a long time. And I think that's very much about where you're at within your confidence, within what's going on in your life and who you're letting in and how you're feeling. When you start surrounding yourself with the right people, it is all about the universe and being in the right places and being in the right circles and attracting the right people. And you start to realize that this feels good, this feels better. And I know from my own experience, we've been in Dubai, mine's 17 years now. And starting out, I was doing styling, and then I moved into interior design. And it was very much a culture of, don't tell her where you got that. Don't share your contacts. Don't do this. Don't do that. Whereas now, the kind of networks and things, only in the last sort of 6 months since I've met you and we've started sharing all our contacts, I feel like I've always been that girl that wants to give everything to anyone and help lift people up. And I feel like this is happening more and more now, which is really nice, whether it's because I'm in different circles or it's more of the thing to do or whatever. But there is such a movement of girls supporting girls and guys as well. There's a lot of great guys doing it as well, but it's a lovely thing to have. And I think it's probably one of the most important things. My mum said to me, Jenny, keep your friends around you, no matter what. Keep your friends, because your friends will never, ever leave you. And one of my best friend WhatsApp groups, we were just talking, we do voice notes all day, every day. One of the girls said, it's okay, just enjoy your day off and don't worry about that. We'll sort it out later on. And I just said back, oh my God, we'll sort it out. She was talking to my other friend and I was like, that's the key word, we'll sort it out, because we've got each other. Yeah. And I think that's just the lovely thing. And all three of us are single and whatever, but it was just like, we've got each other, we'll do it together. So that leads me on, Kelly. We've had a lovely chat, but this girl really can talk and I need to stop talking. So I've got some quick fire questions, because these are the ones that are going to give our guests even more tips and tricks. Are you ready?
Go for it.
Favorite podcast?
Ooh. because there's quite a few that I listen to. Oh, I need to open my podcast thing up and it's supposed to be quick fire. Do you know, I actually really like Alex Hermose's podcast because he talks about business. I don't even know what it's called, but Alex Hermose, entrepreneur. Some of his podcasts are just 8 minutes, some are 15 minutes, and they just work really well for me on the way home from the gym.
Love it.
Yes, that's really
okay.
good.
Current favorite Instagram account to follow?
Again, I've got many, but I think there's been a big shift, whereas there would have been style for so long. Whereas now there's not one, but there's multiple and they're all fitness.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, it's all, ooh, how can I do this exercise? Or, and I'm really bad for savings. Oh, this is 35 grams of macros. I'll save that because I'll make it. I don't ever make any of them. But
It's wishful, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's wishful.
they're definitely fitness ones.
Amazing. High street or high end?
I think it's always got to be a combination of them both.
If you could only have one luxury brand, which would it be?
Probably what I've got most of in my closet. So we talked about shoes being Malone's. I would probably say the dresses that I have the most of, would be between Zimmerman.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. Or self-portrait. Mix of both of those,
yeah.
I would probably say.
See, I wasn't even thinking of those. I love them both. There's too many. There's too
I
many.
I know.
If you were only allowed one item from your makeup bag, what would it be?
My lip gloss. I'm obsessed. There's a Clarins 01 lip gloss and I have one in every bag. My husband laughed. He said, "You've got 3 of these same lip glosses in the bag." I'm like, "I've got one in every bag."
It's important because if they discontinue that, you are in trouble. There's the Fenty one, and I forget what shade it is, but she discontinued it. Rihanna, don't know why you did that to me. Anyway, I'm dragging the last bits out of the last one I've got. Heels or sneakers?
I'd probably say it's definitely moved into the sneakers. That said, I did try and present in sneakers. Doesn't work. So I have to wear heels. I did try it and I was like, no, I saw Mel Robbins. I've got loads of pairs of Golden Goose, loved them. Tried to present and it was total flat. And I was like, no, I need to wear heels.
Most prized possession in your closet?
There's so many. I'm gifted so many lovely things. My husband, for my 40th, got me a beautiful Dior bag.
It's hard,
so
isn't
that's really nice because it's something that kind of goes with everything. Loads of jewellery pieces.
He's a good husband.
He knows his way around Dior. We're looking for one. I would take the Zimmerman dress. So last year, I got a phone call from Amber, which for those that maybe not in the UAE is the luxury point system for the Harvey Nichols, for Bloomingdale's. And I get this phone call and they say, "We'd just love to call and tell you," this was the first week of January, "that you've won 1 million Amber points." I said, "Is this a hoax call?" And he's, "I can tell you it's not a hoax call." And I looked at the number and it did come up with Altair. And I thought, oh, okay. And he said, "Yeah, you've won 1 million. And I was like, oh, okay. So 1 million sounds a lot. I was like, what does this equate to? And it was 10,000 dirhams. I picked out one dress and he picked out another. And I was like, but I can't have that one because it was like 6,000 or 7,000 dirhams or something like that. And I said, then all my money will be gone, because I said I would buy him something out of it. And I was like, but I could buy multiple things if I got a different dress. The whole point of this is it's a bonus. You've got to buy something that you wouldn't normally, or you'd question, or you'd think twice about doing it. Buy it.
I love
And I was like, okay, I'll buy it. That's probably my current piece because there's so much of a story behind it.
Who's your ultimate style icon and why?
Oh, I probably have to go quite cliche with that. In terms of one that people know that's not on Instagram, I would say I really do like Victoria Beckham's style.
I do.
Yeah, I love her pieces. I love the simplicity. She wears a white t-shirt really well, jeans, easy. I'd probably go with her. It's a bit effortless.
She's great. What's the latest beauty or fashion trend that you secretly can't stand?
Oh, that I can't stand. People went through a phase of having their eyebrows all
Overly laminated, very laminated.
That I was like, that's odd.
What's your guilty pleasure when it comes to fashion or beauty splurges?
Oh, skincare.
It's skincare.
It's all over skincare. I love it. I love Sensei
I will
Beauty.
be influenced by anything, like late at night on Instagram, buying masks and things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Who's your secret celebrity crush?
Oh, it really depends on the moment, really. I've just finished Virgin River and I think Jack's really Ryan Reynolds. Oh, I'm probably quite cliche in that space.
What's your ultimate girls' night? Is it out, in, where are you going and who's coming with you?
Do you know what? Right now, it's definitely in. I would say there's definitely pizza. There's definitely rosé, nice rosé. There's definitely bubbles, both, all of the above.
Oh, Kelly, it has been a sheer pleasure. The ultimate girls' chat, and I've
Very
loved
nice.
it. I know that my listeners are going to absolutely love it.
You did amazing. Well done.
I will, of course, add all of this in the show notes,
Yep.
but please, Kelly, tell us all where we can find you and all of your expertise so that all my listeners can benefit the way I have and my friends have from
Thank you so
everything
much.
you do.
KellyLundbergOfficial.com website, all the links are there, super easy. KellyLundberg.official on Instagram and Kelly Lundberg on LinkedIn. They're the main ones.
She's amazing, and this is the book.
Thank you for your post when you were in the bookshop. I loved it.
Incredible. I was so proud.
Yeah, so good.
This is your story is your power, and it really
it's the
is.
workshop,
So
yeah.
please give Kelly a follow. And if you liked what you listened to today, please give this show a follow. Give me a follow on Instagram and subscribe, because it's only going to get better. So thank you so much for listening. And I so look forward to seeing you all again next time.